Okay, here's another unseen, Latin unseen of, I would say, around about medium standard. Nero murders his brother Britannicus. Take a look at this translation, pause it, and then we'll go through it together. Okay, the first sentence. Britannicus cum familia cenam consumebat, servus omnem cibum vinumque eus gustavit, venenum enim timebat. Britannicus, nominative, consumebat, imperfect tense, was eating, cenam, let's find out object of the sentence, was eating, the accusative, his dinner, cum familia, with his family. Servus, a slave, gustavit, tasted, omnem cibum, adjective omnem in the same case, accusative as the noun cibum, which it describes. The slave tasted all his food and wine. Venenum enim timebat. That's one of those sentences that's going to tell me how good you are at Latin. The people that are less good at Latin are going to see venenum and they're going to make it their subject because it's the first word in the sentence. But in Latin, we need to think of the sentence as a whole. And we see that venenum is going to be the accusative, timebat. The subject is contained within the verb. Enim timebat, for he was fearing poison, for he was afraid of poison. Britannicus poculum vini acervo acepit, nullum venenum in hoc vino erat. Britannicus, nominative again, acepit, received, I've said here, took, poculum, a cup, accusative, vini, of wine, acervo, from the slave. Remember that the word servus must mean slave, it never means servant. A servant gets paid, a slave is owned. Nullum venenum, in hoc vino erat. There was no poison in hoc vino, ablative, hoc vino, in this cup. Britannicus jusit servum aquam frigidam in vinum ponere, quod vinum calidum erat. Britannicus ordered servum, accusative, the slave, ponere, to place, aquam frigidam, we know this from our studying of the different rooms in the baths, to put, ponere, the infinitive, to put, aquam frigidam, cold water, in the wine, quod vinum calidum erat, because the wine was warm. In hac aqua erat venenum, hoc per totum corpus tam celeriter pervasit, ut nihil dicere posset. In this water there was venenum, there was poison. Hoc, this pervasit, I've said here, went through, per totum corpus, went through his whole body, tam celeriter, so quickly. As soon as I see the word tam, the same way that if I see the word tantus, or if I see the word, so many different words, adeo, or words of that type, they are trigger words. I look for my subjunctive and I find it in posset. This went through his whole body so quickly, so the trigger word tam posset identifying for me that I'm going to be seeing a result clause. So quickly, ut, that he, posset, was able, dicere, to say nothing. He was not able to say anything, but he was able, dicere, infinitive, to say nothing. Nero ceteris hospitibus dixit, vocem Britannici, saepe infirmam esse, et eum mox vocem receptorum esse. This is where the sentence is getting a little bit more difficult. Nero, dixit, said, ceteris hospitibus, dative, to the other guests, vocem, as soon as I see a verb of saying or thinking, I look for an accusative and I look for an infinitive. I can find one in vocem and esse. He said the voice to be infirmam, weak. He said the voice of Britannicus often to be weak. That's not right. Obviously that doesn't sound right. Nero said to the other guests that the voice, genitive, of Britannicus, saepe esse, often was weak. Et eum mox vocem receptorum esse. Now, rather than using the word se, we're using the word eum. That means that the subject of this next clause in the indirect statement is not the subject of the original one, i.e. it's not Nero, it is Britannicus. If it was Nero was going to be doing anything, it would be se, et eum, and that he, eum, receptorum esse, future participle version of receptorum esse, and that he, mox, soon, was going to recover or regather, I've said here, his vocem, his voice. Obviously, if it said et se mox vocem receptorum esse, that would mean, again, and that he would soon regather his voice, but it would be meaning that Nero was soon going to regather his voice. But the eum tells us the subject has changed, and it's Britannicus would soon regather his voice. Again, indirect statement. Agrippina tamen intellectit quid accidisset. Agrippina, however, understood, intellected, quid accidisset, what had happened. That's that question word. So what has happened is a direct question. Agrippina, however, understood what had happened is an indirect question. Hence, accidisset is in the pluperfect subjunctive. Okay, there's one more Nero story to go.